there was a congressional hearing, and it was being held by the House Committee on Oversight and Reform. Now, the Democratic chair of the committee said the purpose of the examination was to look at the ongoing threat to American democracy posed by white supremacist ideologies and how the federal government can confront domestic terrorist threats. You're a white supremacist if you're a conservative in their eyes. So, you have to be a little concerned about what the real purpose of this hearing was. So who do they call? The Democrats call this woman who's been on our show and in the news a fair amount lately. Her last name is Caraballo. Could be Caraballo. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but the first name is Alejandra. And this is a trans activist who is a Harvard law instructor and a trans activist, as I said. This person appeared in a Washington Post story recently criticizing Elon Musk and, the deterioration of civil discussion and so on in America. This person gets confronted by a Republican, Nancy Mace. She's a more moderate Republican, I would say, trying to call her out on some of this woman's past statements. But keep in mind as you watch this exchange, this woman, Alejandra Caraballo, is there to talk about the ongoing threat to democracy posed by white supremacist ideologies and the danger of harsh political rhetoric. She doesn't like harsh political rhetoric. So watch the exchange here between Nancy Mace and this Harvard law instructor.
Is rhetoric on social media a problem and a threat to our democracy?
Yes.
Another question I have, do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with violence for carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy?
Yes.
Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again." Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on November 19th, not even a month ago, that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo: do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media? And do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization of my statements.
Did you not tweet that you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is that is not an accurate characterization of my statements.
How? You wrote it, you tweeted it, you tweet crazy things like that all the time. I would have loved for her to have gotten to this earlier so she could have said exactly how did you mischaracterize your own statements in those tweets?
Yeah, this is typical. These are not Democrats. We should remember that. They're not even progressive, whatever that term means now. They're hardcore leftists. And you can really see this 60s idea. When I was in college, everybody said, any means necessary, or the old Marxists that our superior ends justify any means to get to them. So they don't see that as hate speech, just like Chuck Schumer doesn't see anything wrong with going out to the doors of the Supreme Court and yelling, "You've sowed the wind, you two," and name Gorsuch and Kavanaugh by name, and you're going to reap the whirlwind. You don't know what's going to hit you. And then and then we have these people show up at the Supreme Court, or Joe Biden, who says that half the country is, in effect, that voted for Trump are semi-fascist or un-American. And then he gives a lecture about same thing, that we have to lower the tempo. So I think that in this new political ideology among the Democrats, you can say whatever you need to affect social change, because the social change that you're trying to institutionalize is so morally superior to anybody else's, or to especially the ossified Neanderthal right, that at times you're just going to have to say things and you're going to have to deny them later. But believe me, nobody on the left is outraged about what she said about Supreme Court justices. They think that's what
I wanted to ask you.
No,
because
they don't care.
So somebody must have gone to Congressman Jamie Raskin and said, "Hey, just as a heads up, this woman who we're about to call has got some really controversial tweets recently. This isn't from 10 years ago. This is on June 25th. She tweeted out the 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It's our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They're pariahs. They should never have a peaceful moment in public again. I mean, and the thing is, the Democratic representatives in charge of the committee said, no problem. That's okay. She can come and she can come and testify against violent rhetoric. That's what we're going to, she's perfect.
It's just like Maxine Waters, who said, follow people around and get in their faces, and the Trump people. Go to the gas station, and she was lauded for that. They feel that those people are especially committed. And if you have to delude people post facto, or you have to contextualize a little bit, that's perfectly permissible. But the main thing that their takeaway is this person is on our side. They're on the front lines. They're willing to go head to head with conservatives. And sometimes they have to use means that conservatives don't like. And we're going to stand with them no matter what. And that's the ideology. It's so ironic, Megyn, because they keep saying that the Republicans have been hijacked and they're no longer Republicans. It's really the Democrats. They have no semblance, not just to JFK or Hubert Humphrey, but Bill Clinton's party doesn't exist. These are revolutionaries, or hardcore, and they're going to use any means necessary. And I think the Republican establishment has no idea what they're up against, whether it goes to balloting, absentee balloting, or early voting, or the use of dark money, which, you know, they are. I just think that we can't envision the revolution in our midst when we look at the border, or we look at our foreign policy, or we look at energy. All these issues, they have in store for us radical changes, and they're willing to do almost anything to enact them because they don't have 51% of the public behind them. They only have these institutions that they've absorbed.
This is why Ron DeSantis is so interesting to so many Republicans, because yes, he'll say these people are lunatics, the way we hear Trump say. But DeSantis almost surgically tries to go after their woke temples one by one, right? Whether it's the Disney thing or the bill in the schools to stop the sexual instruction of, you know, very young children in classroom time. Now he's taking a deep dive at the Florida Supreme Court level. He wants an investigation into the drug companies and their misleading about the COVID vaccine. So he's actually doing something about each of these things that is irritating to a lot of conservatives, you know? He's not just saying the right things, he's doing the right things. And I would submit to you, that's one of the reasons why not one but 2 polls now are showing him leading the GOP pack for the nomination. We are very early in this contest, but the contest is on. Make no mistake. As soon as we come back from the holiday, it's going to start percolating back up. The candidates are going to start declaring in spring. And by the summer, we're probably going to be having debates. So here's what the latest news is. Yesterday, we first saw a poll. It was out of Suffolk University. And it was the first to show Trump trailing DeSantis nationally by a wide margin. They did say, take it with a grain of salt, could be an outlier, 1,000 registered voters between December 7 and 11. DeSantis, 56%, Trump, 33%. Again, this is with respect to GOP voters. And it's a good lead for DeSantis. I mean, almost 20 points. Now, Trump was still leading DeSantis 48.8 to 27.3 in the Real Clear Politics average of all polls, but the most recent poll there was taken a month ago. So that was some good news for DeSantis if he wants to run. Then, today, we get the Wall Street Journal with its own poll showing DeSantis beating Trump 52 to 38. Still a big margin among likely, that's the relevant group, likely GOP primary voters, saying 86% view DeSantis favorably, 74% view Trump favorably. Those who are very conservative favored Trump, 54 to 38. Those who are somewhat conservative back DeSantis over Trump, 59 to 29. The problem for DeSantis is the moderates don't tend to drive the primary results. It tends to be the more conservative ones who drive the primary winners. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. I love this company. They've really helped me. I have dry eye and I wear their glasses when I watch the computer screen. I've really noticed a difference. Founded on science, inspired by nature, all Bon Charge products adopt ancestral ways of living in our modern day world. From blue light glasses to red light therapy to EMF management and circadian-friendly lighting, BondCharge products help you naturally address the issues of our modern day way of life effortlessly. Their glasses come in non-prescription and prescription and reading options as well. BondCharge also has other amazing products like low blue light bulbs, red light therapy devices, EMF 5G protection, and 100% blackout sleep masks, all backed by science. Highly recommend the sleep masks too. They can ship worldwide in rapid time, and most importantly, they have easy returns and exchanges. Go to bondcharge.com, BONCHARGE.com/MK. Use that coupon code MK, and that will save you 20% off your order. Bondcharge.com/MK. Use that coupon code MK to save yourself 20%. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.